Now, Mike Mason has been with us a long time, and a pleasure to have him on the show today. And this is the email that I get at 8:29. I'm glad you're having Mike Mason on the show. Mike's guidance is the reason I retired at 62 instead of 66. I couldn't have done it without him. Bill in Gloucester. Well, that's the way to begin this segment. Let me tell you a little bit about Mike. Well, you know, you've been listening to the show and the station. Mr. Mason has been in the financial planning business since 1987, co-founded Mason & Associates in 2003 with his brother Ken. Got a BS in business and finance from the University of Maryland, holds some of the industry's most respected credentials, certified financial planner, chartered life underwriter, and chartered financial consultant. Michael is the voice of Mason & Associates, is a host of the firm's call-in radio show, which he now co-hosts with John Mason and Tommy Blackburn. Michael is also co-host of the Federal Employee Financial Planning Podcast. And he's a proud veteran of the United States Air Force, and he served from 1981 through 1987. Up in the air, Michael Mason. Good morning, Michael. How you doing today?
Tony, it's wonderful. Another great start to the morning, great start for your show. Thanks for allowing me to be part of it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for advertising with us all these years. Now, we're going to talk about a plan and having a financial plan, but I had some other financial guys on, and they have a different expertise than you. So at the beginning, for people, and I know most people know who you are, Michael Mason, but not everybody does, what is your exact area of expertise?
Yeah, Tony, about 30 years ago, we decided, everyone has the same issues in this business, finding clients. WNIS has been a great source for us, but we decided that if we had a specialty and we were as good at that specialty as we could be, then the clients would gravitate to us. So our specialty started about 30 years ago is with federal employees, understanding their benefits package, better than or as well as anybody in the country. Let me not say better. I would challenge that there's people as good as us, but we'll say better, as good as anybody. And with a federal employee specialist, then you have to become a military specialist as well, because there's a lot of military that go on second career federal. And then, of course, that's morphed into state. The biggest thing is, from our standpoint, control the things you can control. We can't control the stock market, but we can control making sure you get maximum benefit out of your military pension, your federal pension, your state pension, or maybe even a Dominion Resources or a Centera pension. So it's really, it's morphed into this, get maximum value out of your pension and build your financial plan around that and Social Security.
Michael Mason, you heard what he had to say. Now, a lot of the calls I got last week from some of the people who are experts in other fields, and they didn't have, perhaps a well-defined view on all of these. So if you're a federal employee, you have questions, now's the time to call. This is the guy who knows that stuff, Michael Mason. Give us a call, 627-7979. Now, what I would like you to do, Michael Mason, is walk us through. Somebody calls you up and they say, I need a plan. What is the process? What is the procedure?
Great question there, Tony. First and foremost, we set a 30-minute introductory phone call. And in that introductory phone call, we explain to folks that we cannot take everybody that may want to be a client as a client, but we can leave a person better off than before they called. So the 30-minute phone call is to decide, do our goals align? We've been doing this long enough that we have a minimum that's usually $700,000 or more that can be put under management. So we'll spend that 30 minutes to decide, do you fit our goals and do we fit yours? And if we can't necessarily take that person, then we leave them better off. We give them some guidance. We let them know where to go. If we decide that our goals may be aligned, then we move on to an introductory financial planning meeting where we gather all the information. We move from there to the actual presentation of the plan. Once that plan's presented and everybody's happy, we pick up a fee for that plan, and then the ongoing relationship continues when we put assets under management.
Michael Mason is here today. We've got a bunch of people calling in for Mr. Mike Mason. Good morning. You're on WNIS. What is your first name?
Demetrio.
Demetrio, you're on with Mike Mason. Go ahead and ask your question.
My question is, sir, will they be when I turn 62 and I file for, Social Security benefits, will I be taxed and do I have to file taxes every year? Or is there a certain amount?
That's a good question. Let me go. I know exactly where you're going here. So first and foremost, Social Security in Virginia is never taxed. If your entire income sources when you're drawing Social Security is the Social Security itself, then you're not going to have a federal tax liability. But when you begin to have other income, let's say you have a military pension or a federal pension and Social Security, well, then Social Security will be taxed up to 85% of Social Security will flow through a tax return. So if all you have is Social Security, it's not going to be taxed state or federal. But once you start having other income, then it can be taxed up to 85%.
There you go. Very good question. We have another question. And look, if you have a question, this is the guy to ask. Give us a call now. 627-7979. Don't wait till the last 5 minutes and we got full lines and I can't get to all of you. Let's get to it now. Our next caller is from Gloucester and a gentleman by the name of Eric. Eric, I'm glad you checked in. Talk to Mike Mason.
Hey, Mike. How you doing this morning?
Good, Eric.
Got a question for you. I've worked for Colonial Williamsburg for 25 years, and I've retired, and I've started a second career. But I'm getting close to the age of 50, and they offer me early retirement at a penalty. I'm wondering, would I be better off to take that and invest it, or just wait until I'm 67?
Yeah, so you said you're getting close to the age of 50, or did you say 60?
50. And they offer me early retirement at 50. I can pull it out, but it would be at a reduced percentage, or I could wait till 67 to get my full retirement.
Right. And that's Eric, really that's difficult to answer without looking at those numbers. It sounds like they're offering you a monthly income reduced amount versus lump sum.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, I would say taking it at 50 probably, and this is a probably, we have to see the numbers, but probably not in your best interest. You've started that second career. Hopefully that's enough to handle your needs and your wants. In times like we have right now, uncertainty with the stock market bouncing up and down, and we don't know whether the U.S. will be at war with Russia. One, you need a plan. Two, anything that is guaranteed income is pretty good, right? So that's why our clients, Eric, can go through these times and not panic, because they're state, federal, military retirees with great benefits, and 85 to 90% of their needs are taken care of from their guaranteed pensions. That's a nice ace in the hole there. So I would say, if you want additional information and a firm answer, then we would have to look at your numbers.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the call, Eric. Mike Mason is here. He'll be here for the rest of the hour. If you have a question, call it on in. Don't be shy. I know you do, and you're thinking about calling, so do it. 627-7979. Email tony@wnis.com. Now, you're hearing Mike. You like the way he sounds? You want a private consultation? You want to work with this gentleman? You have the opportunity to do that. You can give him a call at 757-223-9898. 757-223-9898. Also, MasonLLC.net. He spells his name, of course, MasonLLC.net. Mike Mason. More with Mike Mason. The calls are coming in. We'll get to you, but first this. And our special guest this hour, this segment, is Mike Mason from Mike Mason and Associates. We got another phone call. This one coming in from Eddie. Hey, Eddie, I'm glad you checked in. Talk to Mike Mason.
Good morning, Mr. Mason.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm a military retired, working for the Postal Service, and people tell me that I have too many health insurance, and I tell them that you can never have enough insurance. I have Tricare Prime, Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Once I retire completely in 3 years, I will apply for Medicaid. Which one of those two should I keep? Is my question.
Yeah, many retirees, Eddie, will have their federal Blue Cross Blue Shield, will have that Tricare, because they want the option of maybe federal insurance at retirement. But once you're Medicare eligible, you're going to, if you're like most of our clients, you are going to take Medicare A and B, and then your Medicare supplement becomes Tricare for life, and you would suspend your federal health insurance. That would be too much health insurance. Federal would be costing you, anywhere from $300 to $400 a month. So you would suspend that and just keep that as a backup, just in case something goes crazy with Tricare for life. But you'll have Tricare for life and Medicare at age 65.
Okay.
Outstanding. Okay, that was my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eddie. Good to hear from you. We got another one coming in here, and this is from Norfolk. And this time around, we're going to welcome the conversation of Zach. Hey, Zach, you're on with Mike Mason. Go ahead.
Hey, Tony, it's an honor, sir. Mike, thank you for giving your time today. I'll try to make this short. I'm 28 years old. I've been working in the federal government for about 2.5 years now, and I have been fortunate enough to be able to maximize my account. It's looking like this year. I believe it's $20,500 for my TSP. I'm wondering if I should continue on my aggressive stance of investing in CNS funds, or given the volatility, maybe back it off a little bit. I mean, I can't imagine I would touch it for 30 years or so. What do you think?
It's a great question. Are you married?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay. Do you have a Roth IRA?
I do, with T. Rowe Price.
Yeah, and are you funding pre-tax TSP, or are you doing Roth?
I'm sorry, could you say that again, Mike? I apologize.
Are you doing the pre-tax TSP, or are you doing the Roth TSP?
I'm doing the Roth TSP.
All right, so you're doing a lot of the right things. You're as long as you can continue to fund your TSP at the full amount. I like the fact that you're doing Roth. Tax brackets, I would expect, are going to be huge by the time you get to this money. So now it's all tax-free. I would have suggested that if you weren't fully funding your Roth IRA as well, that you would need to do that. So if you had to back down on TSP to do the Roth IRA, then that would be okay, but you're doing both. And what better time to be throwing as much money into the market than now? This is a mistake people make when the market's volatile. It's one thing if you say I'm going to get my nest egg and go a little conservative, but when you're putting money in every 2 weeks, you want to be buying into a volatile market or a down market. So I would say you're doing a lot of the right things. Keep doing it.
All right. Is that it? Zach, you got some more?
That is it.
All right, Zach, thank you very much. Hey, Mike, isn't that cool to hear a guy 28 years old that squared away?
That's unbelievable. Yeah, this is one of the reasons, Tony, we continue to do the show. And of course, we're doing a podcast now as well that's live, Federal Employee Financial Planning Podcast, which you can get wherever you get your podcast from. You can get through the Mason and Associates website. We know we can't help everybody direct, but we feel compelled to pass this knowledge on any way we can, so we continue to do the radio show the first and third Tuesday. We've got one tomorrow night, and we continue to do these things, which you're nice enough to give us, today, 25, 30 minutes of your time, which we greatly appreciate.
Hey, I greatly appreciate you advertising with us all these years, doing a great job for us, and also helping a lot of people out who have a lot of very good questions this hour. And we continue with Greg. Greg, you're on with Mike Mason. Welcome, and go ahead, please, sir.
Yes, sir. I kept getting mail a couple of years ago when I turned 65 that if I didn't sign up for Medicare, by a certain date, that I'd be penalized and I'd have to pay more. So I like a crazy guy, I signed up, and I've never needed their services in the last 2 years. And then I get a bill for $1,000 in the mail last week that they want paid in full by the 25th of this month. It's called a Medicare premium bill. It says Part B, first bill, and this is for 6 months.
So, are you military retired, federal retired?
No, I'm not. I'm just a regular civilian.
Okay. So the only thing I can think of, Greg, is if you're now 67 years old and you did the right thing, not having Medicare Part B would be a bad thing. But Medicare Part B, as in boy, is income tested. And if your income exceeds, like 175 to 180,000 married joint, about half that single, then you're going to pay more for your Medicare. So the only reason I can see if they're not pulling it out of your Social Security. The only thing I can see for this bill is that you made too much income a couple of years ago, and they're charging you more for your Medicare.
Okay, what's your number at your office?
223-9898, MasonLLC.net.
Wait a minute, 223-9898?
That's right.
That's correct.
And just ask for who?
Mike Mason.
Mike.
Mike, ask for Mike. Yeah.
And that's 223-9898 in Norfolk.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, there you go. And once again, I tell you what, Tyler, if you would, put Mike Mason's name on our Facebook page and the phone number and the website, because a lot of people are calling in, they're driving, they're hearing this stuff. But if you want to write it down, 223-9898. Now, once again, you got the podcast, Mike Mason, and also you're going to be on WNIS tomorrow night?
That's correct.
Okay, and what I want to ask you, guys like you impress me, and here's why. All I got to do is come here and BS for 3 hours every morning. It's not that hard. But you have to keep on top of all these regulations, which I got to think, all these different administrations, all these different houses of representatives and then the stuff that's going on in Virginia, and then the military rules. Tell me, how much of your day, how much of your time, week in, week out, year in, year out, is spent just keeping up with the rules and regulations and the changes?
What a really, really good perspective. Let me first say that I've got a whole lot of help. John Mason, our son, Mike and Bobby Mason, he's a certified financial planner. He's now the president of the company.
Okay.
We've got Tommy Blackburn, certified financial planner, CPA. We've got Ben Rakes, who's the newest and will be part of our succession plan, also a certified financial planner, enrolled agent with the IRS. And, of course, the original partner of Mason and Associates, my brother Ken Mason, with the 35 years of financial planning experience. So all together, we're constantly in this office banging new ideas. When Build Back Better was being proposed and all the nuances that would have been in that had it been passed, we were ready to go. Fortunately, Joe Manchin made sure that didn't happen. So a good portion of our day, but it just rolls into everything else we're doing for our clients. Next month, we'll start our strategic planning meetings. We'll get over 300 strategic planning meetings done in a 2-month period. And the beauty of doing all of them in that 2-month period is you get really, really good at one thing. And that's, what are the rules today? How is it going to affect your plan? And strategizing, we call it control the things you can control. Maybe Roth conversions make sense if your portfolios are down. Convert now to a Roth, so that you pay taxes on the amount it is today, and we hope it grows back on a tax-free basis. Maybe you refinance high debt. The gentleman that was going to turn on his Social Security at age 62, maybe we decide, hey, let's not do that, because we know Social Security between 62 and 67 is going to grow at 6% for him. So maybe we delay that. So many of the things that we do in these compressed periods. We call surge, and we do just the things for that 2-month period so that we get very, very good at that. And then we move on, and then, outside of this, we'll study whatever the government is going to present to us, and we'll study it over that next 2-month surge period to make sure that we're staying on track.
Mike Mason is here this morning. David checks in, and David says, I'm exiting the Marine Corps after 10 years. Should I roll over my TSP into something else? If not, is there a way I can continue making deposits on it?
So unless you get a federal job, and you really wouldn't be making contributions to your military TSP, unless you get a federal job, you won't have TSP to contribute to. 10 years in the military, maybe you had some time in the combat zone. If you did, and you've got contributions that weren't taxed, exempt contributions, then you probably, more than likely, will want to roll that money to an IRA, because those exempt contributions can come out into a Roth IRA. let's say you've got 50,000 in your TSP and 15,000 is exempt contributions. If you just leave it there until 60, you're still only going to get that 15,000 out tax-free. But if you roll it to an IRA and that 15 goes into Roth, that 15 could double 2 or 3 times. All of it comes out tax-free. So the reason to move it would be to segregate your exempt contributions into Roth, your pre-tax contributions into traditional.
Michael, every now and then I get the impression that you've heard a lot of these questions before.
Yes, we have.
Now, Mike, what I want you to do is rapidly running out of time. I can give you about 2 minutes now. Just say anything you want to say about Mike Mason and Associates. Go ahead, sir.
Most important for me here is, folks, we're in trying times right now. And the trying times with the market bouncing up and down, people will make decisions because they don't have a plan. With a plan, you know that you can get through these up and down markets. The stock market has never lost 100%. We'll never lose 100%. Stay invested, stay the course. If you don't have a plan, it's time to get one. I don't know that we can do it. We would like to interview for that position, but get a plan. Don't just get a product. Product doesn't help you sleep at night. A plan does. If you're retiring military, take survivor benefits. Retiring federal, take survivor benefits. Learn more at masonllc.net. masonllc.net. Also seek out the Federal Employee Financial Planning Podcast. Folks, we've got years of experience. You've got a great plan. You're a millionaire in your benefits package. Plan like a millionaire.
I love that slogan. I love that saying. Mike Mason, always a pleasure. Look forward to maybe the next time we do this, Ewing can hook you up and we'll get you down here in the studio. But always a pleasure to talk to you. And I know you made a lot of people happy today by answering their questions. Thank you, Mike Mason.
Take care, Tony.
Be well, my friend. Mike Mason right there. Mike Mason and Associates. The show that he has on WNIS airs the first and third Tuesday of every month from 6 to 7 p.m. This guy knows his stuff. Mason and Associates Financial Planning Radio Show. You heard him. Just knock out them answers, man. He knows his stuff. Give him a call. Get the answer to your question from Mike Mason. Mike Mason and Associates. MasonLLC.net. MasonLLC.net. And we got all this information on our Facebook page. So if you need more, go there. If you need the number, here it is right now, 757-223-9898. 757-223-9898. Michael R. Mason, M-A-S-O-N.